Welcome, and thank you very much for allowing me to be one of your speakers today. My topic for today is to discuss the importance of humility and curiosity in your career, business, and the future of our work. Before I begin, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Whadjuk people. I wish to acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contribution they made to the life of this city and this region. My name is Francis, and I'm General Manager, People and Culture for Wanslea. Wanslea is a beautiful not-for-profit organisation that's purpose is to create a safer, more inclusive Australian community where children and families can realise their full potential. Part of the way we learn is through storytelling. So let me tell you a story. Let's start with some history. We are on the brink of a significant intergenerational transition in our workforce. As the baby boomers, who are currently making up a quarter of our workforce and hold most of the leadership positions, are reaching retirement years. So while you, as the next generation, are entering the workforce, things are going to change. Your generation is the most materially endowed, technologically literate, formally educated, and globally connected generation that has ever graced the planet. The way that you approach work, solve problems, collaborate, communicate, and innovate will be different as a result. Every generation has its challenges. The 60s were marked by the civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, anti-war protests, and political assassinations. The 80s were marked by AIDS, but also remembered for its materialism and consumerism. The 21st century has us looking at securing cyberspace, clean energy, sustainability, or maybe our biggest challenge is a poor Wi-Fi connection and your phone being out of charge. Technology has caused extraordinary and unprecedented change. And change is also how we will have to look at our careers. In Australia, people now change jobs on average every 3 years. You most likely will have 17 different jobs across 5 different careers. Our population has doubled since 1966, and we are not only growing but also aging. In 1985, there were more younger people than older people. And the prediction is that in 2045, we will have more people aged over 60 than under 18. This, together with the fact that we also live longer, will have a triple effect on our society. Our society is also changing. 3/5 of our growth can be contributed to overseas migration. Due to migration, we are also more culturally diverse than ever before. This diversity will be increasingly reflected in our workplace communities. As well as our multi-generational community, we currently have 6 generations represented in our workforce. The builders, the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, and a generation born in 2010. The year marked by the electric car charging station, the launch of the iPad, the launch of Instagram, and the beginning of Generation Alpha. And each of these generations have different needs and challenges. An older generation that is used to a command and control leadership style, and a younger generation that is driven by collaboration and contribution. In my days, your boss was the one in the corner office. Usually, he had the highest developed skills or expertise. It was usually a male, and he would never leave the office before 7 p.m. and often worked 7 days per week, or at least gave the impression that he used to work on the weekend to catch up on things. One of the complaints of these leaders was that it was lonely at the top. The leadership for the future is based on being able to create a culture of collaborative innovation. It is more equal, a more we're in it together kind of approach. These leaders will understand that as people, we are designed to connect. And while we are constantly connecting on online platforms, these leaders also realize that technology has made us more efficient. So we don't have to work 24/7. We can work from the beach. We can work from home, from a cafe while we're drinking our soy long macchiato. However, these leaders also realize the importance of the magic that happens when we connect face to face. Ideas are sparked and stronger relationships are built. They also realize the importance of contribution and creation. So the workforce for the future is inclusive of a multi-generational, multicultural, multi-skilled community who draws on the strength of diversity and is built on the foundation of shared values such as humility, curiosity, respect, and authenticity. Productivity and outcomes output are important, but perhaps as we shift our focus from just process to developing people, from just outcomes to creating space for opportunity and innovation, from transactional to transformational leadership to create dynamic and healthy workplace communities where productivity will be higher than ever as people will be invested in their work in a rewarding way, in a thriving culture of collaborative innovation. So how does this history lesson affect your career and skills needed to become fulfilled in your career? This is where curiosity comes in. Did you know that a recent Gallup survey has indicated that 87% of employees worldwide are not engaged in their work? As you can imagine, as a HR manager and former career counselor who is dedicated to leadership development and creating work environments for people to thrive, I am curious about this statistic. From a HR point of view, we often look at the external factors of why people are not engaged, like company culture and wages. However, I am much more interested in internal factors, like why someone chose this particular line of work. In my former role as a career counselor, I looked at career development in a different way. Historically, people did not necessarily choose a certain line of work. You basically did what your parents did. My dad was a teacher. This was actually his true calling. However, when I decided that this was going to be my career path too, I actually found out that I don't like children. Well, let me clarify this. I love my own 3 children, but I do not necessarily like other people's children. Beside what your parents did, your job often is also prescribed by where you're from, your gender, and your social class. And then there is a new paradigm, passion. We need passion, so we never work a day in our lives. I still do a lot of career coaching with university students who often mention that they didn't like the first job they did straight after college and are looking for a socially acceptable way to hit the restart button. When I talk to them about finding out their passion, they mention that they were still tens of thousands of dollars in debt. So they don't have time for finding their passion. They are only interested in getting a paycheck. I do believe that getting curious about finding your passion is a good idea when we talk about career decisions. Most people I coach actually have no idea what their passion is. And then there's also the fear of choosing a career and realizing that in time, artificial intelligence is going to take away that job. Even those people who embrace the robot overlords will admit that no one really knows what jobs are going to be like in even 5 years down the road. So how do we navigate career decisions in this new world order? One potential framework that has emerged from this conversation comes actually from the field of design. This also needs a certain amount of curiosity. The design thinking process holds the designers to work with their clients, to really get to know them, help understand their problems, help define them, brainstorm possible ideas, prototypes, and test out possible solutions. Using design thinking needs a certain amount of curiosity to become self-aware and find courage. Most people do not take the time to figure out who they are before making a decision of what they want to be. If there is one thing we have learned from behavioral psychology over the years, is that we as humans are not nearly as rational as we thought we were. Last year, I was working with a law student, and one day she came to my office and was quite upset. She had just received her grades for the year and realized that she had done so poorly, and she was locked out of a lot of jobs that would pay her the kind of salary that was going to be necessary to pay back her considerable law school loans. While she was sobbing in my office, she admitted that she actually simply did not like the study of law. So I asked her, "What made you decide to go to law school?" And she answered, "Because I did not want to go to medical school." So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as you can see, it wasn't necessarily a rational career decision. Still today, career decisions are often based on deeply held and often unconscious biases, highly influenced by your parents, peers, and local community. So, how can curiosity help you find your passion, define your career, and become more valuable in the workforce? Curiosity, your willingness and desire to learn new things and dig deeper than the surface, is a survival skill for the future. Not only will your curiosity make learning a much more natural process, instead of just doing a duty or a chore, but being intellectually curious, combined with your ability to ask better questions, more questions, seeking to understand why things are the way they are, will make you a better contributor to an organization that values innovation and collaboration. Curious people aren't satisfied with the status quo as an answer to all the questions. They dig deep into topics to fully understand the reasoning behind common processes. Plus, they want to constantly expand their knowledge of new topics. Having curiosity is also crucial because this skill will allow you to constantly approach old situations in new ways and have better problem-solving skills. You can develop intellectual curiosity by purposefully seeking out opportunities to be curious and learn. I would like to encourage you to ask more questions. Also have the courage to admit that you don't know something. Take it as an opportunity to learn. See the world through someone else's lens before you judge. Also be curious about you. Take a step back and ask yourself, what excites you? What do you wish you could understand more? Follow these interests, even if you have a fear of failure. It's better to start with something you're passionate about rather than force yourself into a direction that drains you. Also, be curious and broaden your horizons. Try to learn from a variety of people so that you can see things from different perspectives. Diversify your interests. Every day I listen to a podcast around a topic that challenges me, that goes against my values and beliefs. This curiosity helps me to become more inclusive, less judgmental, and enriched by going beyond my comfort zone to learn something new. When you're curious, you're more likely to try new things. This means you're also more likely to innovate at work. Also, when you're curious about your work, it also makes it more fun. You no longer suffer through tasks, but you become more flexible since you enjoy adapting to new ways of doing things. Curiosity also gives you an edge over AI. Artificial intelligence and technology are already making several careers redundant, but AI isn't capable of intellectual curiosity, at least not in the foreseeable future. When you cultivate intellectual curiosity, you're demonstrating a trait unique to humans. Your ability to learn, improve, and innovate helps to make you irreplaceable. As you can see, curiosity is how we address innovation and collaboration in the future of our work, similar to humility. A well-functioning organization depends on employees who can work together for the good of a company. Part of developing a collaborative environment means hiring team members who are both competent and humble. Humble employees assist organizations to innovate and expand through a willingness to learn and work with others. Being humble means you don't consider yourself better than others. It's an absence of arrogance. Being humble means that you have the perspective to see that you are as valuable as others, that you make mistakes, and that the needs of others are as important as your own. Humble employees are more open to working with other people, valuing the insights and contributions of others. Rather than viewing your coworkers as competitors, you see them as part of your team, working towards a common goal. Being humble at work can help you support and celebrate the victories of your peers, rather than resent them. You can recognize when a coworker deserves praise, and you are happy to provide it for a job well done. When you're humble at work, it can be easier to build genuine relationships with your colleagues, improving workplace morale. Being humble at work can enhance your reputation as a person with integrity. Part of being humble is recognizing your own weaknesses and areas that need improvement. At work, you might spend more time developing these skills or qualities, or look for opportunities outside of the office that can help you improve your performance. Once you accept that there are areas you need to develop, humility assists you to ask your colleagues or manager for feedback about your performance. Being humble means that you realize there are better ways of doing things. You're always looking for ways to integrate more efficient or cost-effective processes, rather than holding on to outdated systems. This shows that you put the company's success above your own pride. Being humble also means owning your mistakes and recognizing your failings and your willingness to work to make up for them. Owning your mistakes helps develop honesty and integrity in the workplace. Being humble means knowing you always have room to grow. At work, this involves recognizing the valuable insights you can gain from more experienced coworkers. You understand that knowledgeable employees benefit the whole company and make your job easier. Find ways to learn from these employees. Their wisdom can help guide your career, allowing you to avoid some of their mistakes. You can also learn what areas to focus on, helping you to progress faster. Being humble doesn't mean that you lack confidence. It often takes more confidence and courage to allow others to receive recognition. Just as you note your professional weaknesses, remember your strengths so that you too can earn the recognition that you help others receive. Stand up for yourself when necessary. Your humility should not be a justification for poor treatment from others. Being humble at work means that hearing what others think is important to you. You understand that you might not always have the best ideas, so it's important to gain perspective and information from your peers before making decisions. In addition to learning from others, humble people share what they know to benefit their organization. You're not afraid of losing an edge over other people. Instead, you're excited to help everyone do their job well. When you share with others, you show that you care about their success, which encourages them to share with you too. When you're humble, you view everyone equally. Humility includes working to reduce bias and inequities in the workplace. This means you focus on fairness in your actions and stand up against inequitable policies at work. You treat everyone you work with the same, from executives to entry-level employees. Being humble means knowing that every part of your organization is valuable and deserves respect. So to summarize, curiosity and humility turn everything into an opportunity to learn. When you see everything as an opportunity, the world becomes a more interesting place. This can improve your quality of life, not just at work, but also at home. It will unleash and harness your talents and empower, build confidence and courage so you can bring your whole and best self to work. I would like to finish with a quote and some food for thought. Stay hungry, stay young, stay foolish, stay curious, and above all, stay humble, because just when you think you got all the answers, it's the moment when some bitter twist of fate in the universe will remind you that you very much don't. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you inviting me to join you today. Thank you.